Hey guys, what's up? It's Adib, the Texas miner, and today what we're going to be going over is how to build a plenum box for your mining rigs. I would recommend doing a plenum box, building a plenum box system when you have 3 rigs. Anything over that, anything over 2 rigs, you're definitely going to want to look into doing this especially if you're in the southern half of America where it gets very hot during summer. 2 rigs, you'll be all right with just running fans. However, what I've experienced is that when I built this plenum box and I properly created a return and supply for the heat and cooling, my operation, even in 100-degree summer heat, my temperature on my stat panels are all green. So this is a very cheap solution to get some longer life out of your GPUs. Let's get into it. So what is a plenum box? It pretty much separates the hot air from the cool air. So I'll show you examples of the first time when I did it wrong. Thanks to my mentor, he was able to give me a solution and that I am going to be sharing with you guys today. So it's recommended when you're running over 3,400 BTUs, 18 GPUs. For me, that's 6 rigs. 6 GPUs on 1 rig, so 3 rigs. And then if you need to calculate your BTUs, simply just take your number of watts and multiply it by 3.4, and that will give you your total number of BTUs. It's important not to just calculate what your rigs are, what your graphics cards are pulling on your stats panel. If you can see how much power they're pulling on your stats panel, whichever OS mining system that you use, because your power supply, your motherboard, and all the other components also pull watts. They use energy as well, so you can't just calculate it based off of your rigs, because if you do not have enough BTUs to cover your entire operation, you will not be able to maintain temperature control. So that's the whole thing about this. This is general mock-up of what it looks like. It's a box where everything meets. All your return, you're going to take all the hot air and you're going to dump it into this box. Let's see what we got on the next picture. All right. So this is my first attempt this is a HVAC unit, a window HVAC unit, and I just put it on the side of the box, and I thought it'd work, right? Turned it on, just turned into an oven. And the problem is that the heat being produced on these rigs was not being circulated. So what over the evaporator coil properly. So what needs to happen is that hot air needs to pass over this evaporator cooler. Think of it as an ice cube. Okay, it's a permanent ice cube, and that hot air comes and then it into the return and goes out the supply as cool air. So if you don't have that hot air being separated, it's just out of the supply and going right back into the return. So it's just doing circles like this. It's not taking all of the hot air, running it through the evaporator coil and out the supply, giving fresh air to the rigs. So this is what I'm trying to save you guys from. All right? Because, everything looked good on paper, but I had to learn the hard way. But I never quit. So the solution is what I'm trying to share with you guys. So this is a properly installed HVAC unit with the plenum box. So this is a solution right here, is a solution for just 3 rigs. Maybe you could fit 4 in there, but I want you to notice that. So what we did here on this side is we took the entire, I don't want to block we took the entire casing, 3 rigs, and we put it over the box, or we made a box over all the rigs. And the return, what we we created a separate plenum box, so we only created one plenum box. That these right here is the supply. It goes, so it sucks all the hot air being produced in this box right here, sucks it through the return, and then out through these insulated ducts and back into the rig. This is a very good solution if you're just trying to do three rigs in a house. It takes one HVAC unit, and I didn't have to move any wiring. We just ran some 12 gauge cord through the house, and now this partner of mine is making a residual stream of income. He's a young individual, 19, going to be a BMW mechanic. Partnering with young entrepreneurs is what I love to do. So that's our solution for just 3 rigs. Okay, it really takes up the power of 4 because you got to include the HVAC unit. And on the later episodes, I'll show you guys how to figure out what fuses are where so you don't blow the house. Okay. And here's where we had to do on this operation, we had to do a little bit of electrical rewiring, but I think that's a 20,000 BTU unit and an 11,000 BTU unit, and we built plenum boxes for both of them. And out of the top are the insulated ducts, and if you can picture them coming in here, and then the return, you can see them on my other video, the whole solution that we developed. But let's get into how we're going to build these. Okay, the materials needed, I'll go through these one by one. So we used 1/2-inch polyfoam board insulation, 4x8 sheets, $12 a sheet. Probably get, I would say, 3 of those sheets. A razor blade. You're going to want a long razor blade, that you can push all the way out, because when you're cutting the foam, it's not just a slice. You need to saw it, okay, to get a smooth cut. Hot glue gun, glue sticks. So you're going to take your measurements of the face of your box and create your box, okay? And I'm going to show you how to make sure that you measure the dimensions and stuff like that. So duct tape to round off all the edges so everything is nice and airtight. A 6-inch, 8-inch, or 10-inch duct collar. I'll show you guys the math behind that so you can understand what is required for the demand that you're going to be producing. So, and then your ducts to match these insulated ducts. Okay, crucial, guys. Don't go cheap and get the non-insulated ducts. Okay, because they're going to be sending cool air out, and if it's very hot, then you're going to be losing energy because your ducts aren't insulated. So that's something my mentor told me. I never tried to learn the hard way because this whole thing was learning the hard way. So I just listened, and everything went really smooth. 36-inch zip ties. That's how with 36-inch zip ties, you're going to take your duct and you're going to connect your duct to your duct collar with 36-inch zip ties. And you're going to want the zip tie cutting tool. Makes life a whole lot easier because these are thick zip ties. And then you're going to want a window seal insulation strip. I'm going to show you on the next slide. Okay, so I use that strip for so here's the return, right? And here's the supply. I hope you guys can see that. So I'll get out of the way so you can pause that and zoom in and look at it. But what the weather strip is for is because when you're making your measurements, you're going to make it from here. We're going to make everything fit one big box, and then there's going to be a divider right here. Okay, this divider, you need to put that weather stripping because you need to make sure that this wall, imagine there's going to be a divider, and then here's going to be your cold air blowing. There's going to be 2 boxes inside of one. So this wall with the weather stripping makes it so that none of this cool air sneaks over into the return, and it all goes and passes through the rigs. So that's the weather stripping part. All right, now here are the fundamentals from when you guys are building it. Okay, make sure to measure twice, cut once throughout the whole process. I wasn't able to take a video of me making all the Plenum boxes, but it's pretty. As long as you, if you can build Legos, you can definitely build this. Just measure twice, cut once. So the return ducts have a surface area ratio of 2 to 1. So what does that mean? That means that the surface area of this return, so the length times the width, gives you your total surface area. So you're going to take that number and you're going to multiply it by 2, okay? 12 times 15 times 2 is 360 square inches. So on my finished product, I don't remember the exact specs, but this is just a rough estimate of the sizes, okay? And these numbers are for example purposes only. So you're going to take your own measurements and you're going to take it. This is the evaporator cooler right there, okay? And then there's the condenser back there and it blows the hot air. It's a whole nother video, but how they work. So this is that ice cube that we're talking about, that all the cold air needs to go. So you have your return and you gotta take the surface area, multiply it by 2, 360 square inches. Now where that 2 to 1 ratio comes in is the surface area of your ducts needs to be twice the surface area of your return. An 8-inch duct collar has a surface area of 50 square inches. A 10-inch collar has surface area of 78 square inches. So when you do that, we can do 10, we can do a combination of any of them. You can just do a lot more 8s, but 4 10s gives you 314 0.12 square inches, and an 8-inch collar gives you 50 square inches. So you total at 364 square inches. We needed 360 square inches. You want to be right about there. A little bit over is okay, but you do not want to be under. And when you're routing the pipes, make sure that they're not crimped, okay? Now, your supply duct is a little more lenient. It's not so excessive. So all we need for our supply duct is, I think there were just 2 of them. Just some quick math. I'm just representing the return because you can do the return, you can do the supply. Okay? Make sure you're doing your calculations correctly, the area of a circle. Now, this is what a finished Plenum box looks like. You remember how I was saying that in a box, it looks like it's one box, but really there's a wall right there, okay? Now the other one, the smaller unit, had it to where the supply was on the top of the return. So it was just a board right in the middle horizontally. This one is a vertical board. And then you take your pipes, the machine is over there, and you route them like so. And we took there's a tool, I forgot to put it on there, that is a circle cutter, okay? You're gonna want that because that is the only way to cut a perfect circle in the styrofoam, especially if you're doing an 8 inches. You don't just measure it with the ruler and then you put four points, at 4 inches if you're doing the radius. That is not a recipe for success. It's gonna lead to a lot of headaches. I didn't try it. We just saw the cool tool and bought it anyway, and turned out it was a huge lifesaver. Saved a lot of time. Strapped it down a little bit just for extra security. And I remember I said to put that window, you're going to want to make sure there's a lot of different types of window strips at your Home Depot or Lowe's. There's going to be like a flat one, there's going to be and you're going to want the tube type strip, because that one worked really well. You put a bead of hot glue gun or a hot glue, and you put it on there, it kind of melts onto it, and it gives it a little extra cushion, so that way you know for a fact that that route is blocked off, and there's not going to be wasted energy. And that is it, guys. Thanks for tuning in, watching the video. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to know more about investing and cryptocurrency and staying up to date with the latest news on that stuff, you should subscribe to cryptocurrency.market/newsletter. Thank you, guys, and tune in next time. The next one I'll be doing is how to walk into any house and figure out what circuit breakers, what outlets are on what breaker. Okay, that's very important so that you don't blow your outlets and don't start a fire, because if you overload it, that's what the fuses are for. But Murphy's Law, so if it can go wrong, it will. I think that's right. But I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.